Now at 10, COVID-19 hospitalizations in Oklahoma are increasing again. We'll look at the numbers. Plus, health professionals prepare for a battle with the Omicron variant as they're continuing to go to war with that widespread COVID variant. Also, road closures will impact Southwest Missouri drivers. We'll tell you what to expect. And Webb City football looks to claim its 16th state title.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We begin tonight with breaking news as the Parsons, Kansas Police Department is offering a reward to find whoever brutally killed a police officer's dog. This is KOAM News at 10. The 3-month-old dog named Ranger was found this afternoon dead in its owner's backyard. Police say the dog had been decapitated. Police are offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to the capture of whoever killed Ranger. In a statement, Parsons Police Chief Robert Spink says, quote, "This is disgusting enough that it was done to an animal in our community. But when you add in that this appears to be a targeted attack on the home and personal property of a police officer, this makes it nothing more than a hate crime." COVID-19 hospitalizations are hitting numbers not seen in a couple of months. The Oklahoma State Department of Health reports a 3-day average of 515 people hospitalized with COVID-19, including 158 under intensive care. The department reported 1,621 beds were available at Oklahoma's acute care hospitals, including 158 ICU beds. The rolling average of hospitalizations had fallen to 399 on November 9th after topping more than 1,400 in late August. Health officials have detected new cases of the Omicron coronavirus variant in the U.S. as our country prepares for more. Many hospitals are still struggling to battle COVID-19 infections caused by the variant, the Delta variant. Americans are being urged to get a booster shot. Mandy Gaither has the latest on the war against the pandemic.
As expected, new cases of the Omicron coronavirus variant now confirmed in the U.S., but top U.S. health officials say another threat remains.
We should remember that 99.9% of cases in the country right now are from the Delta variant.
The U.S. now averaging more than 100,000 new COVID-19 cases each day, according to Johns Hopkins University data, largely driven by Delta, putting a strain on already overtaxed healthcare systems. In states like Michigan, COVID-19 hospitalizations matching previous highs. One Western New York county declaring a state of emergency this week, also citing a dramatic rise in COVID-19 hospitalizations. As researchers work to learn more about the Omicron variant, Americans are being urged to get a booster shot.
There's every reason to believe that if you get vaccinated and boosted, that you would have at least some degree of cross protection, very likely against severe disease, even against the Omicron variant.
The latest numbers from the CDC show 3/4 of those eligible in the U.S. have gotten at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. About 43 million people 18 and older have received an additional dose or booster. Pfizer now seeking emergency use authorization for boosters in those ages 16 and 17. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
According to the latest Kaiser Family Foundation survey, about 60% of fully vaccinated adults say they've already gotten or definitely will get their booster, but nearly 1 in 5 fully vaccinated adults say they probably or definitely won't get a booster. With the arrival of Omicron likely in our area, local hospitals are gearing up. Following a summer surge in cases caused by the Delta variant, an official with the Wilson Medical Center in Neodesha, Kansas, tells us their staff feels more prepared to handle another uptick in cases. They say at this stage of the pandemic, they can identify better treatment options for their COVID patients.
Well, we do feel like that we always are trying to be sure that we're prepared, and we, ever since the actual pandemic has started, we put a COVID task force in place so that we could meet and discuss what we needed to do to help take care of our patients.
The health center now offers treatments such as antibody tests and treatments that they did not have earlier on in the pandemic. The Food and Drug Administration has expanded its emergency use authorization for a COVID antibody treatment for children. Now doctors can use Eli Lilly's COVID-19 combination treatment to treat kids under the age of 12. That includes infants. The antibody cocktail can be used to help small children with mild to moderate symptoms who are at high risk for severe disease. It's been authorized to treat people ages 12 and up since February. The pharmaceutical company says it's worked well in adult patients who've gotten sick after being exposed to the Delta variant. Lilly is still trying to determine how well it neutralizes the Omicron variant. Doug, Hetty, we're ending the week as we began it with nice weather.
Yeah, all week long we've had fantastic temperatures into the 60s or 70s, but the past 2 days we've been into the 70s, and both days we've set record highs. 74 is what we topped out at today. The old record, 73, set back in 2012, 9 years ago, so another very warm day. We do have some clouds which have been increasing. We are going to have a lot of clouds this weekend, but in general it still looks pretty good. Very weak little wave just to our south, northern parts of Texas, southern parts of Oklahoma. This is going to give us some clouds and a few random showers as we head into the weekend, but still temperatures overall look pretty good. We're sitting 50 to about 55. We did get a cold front that slipped through, so we are going to drop back into the mid 40s later on tonight. So our winds are now out of the north across the region, but overall it looks pretty good. 46 to start, 59 by noon, high temp at 63. A lot of changes down the road. We'll look at that here in just a bit.
See you then. Thanks, Doug. Work begins Monday on the expansion of 32nd Street in Joplin, starting with the clearing of trees from the right-of-way to the street from Schifferdecker to Central City Road. The work might cause temporary lane closures. Then Monday, December 13th, crews will begin working on sanitary sewer lines that cross under the road. It should take all week, and while that work is underway, crews will close southbound traffic on Country Club Drive. Property owners along Country Club Drive will be allowed access to their homes during the closure. Drivers on I-44 should also be aware of some road work that starts next week. Crews will update electronic signs in several locations in Jasper, Newton, and Lawrence counties on both the eastbound and westbound sides. MoDOT says drivers should expect some shoulder closures and possibly lane closures. The waterfall at Neosho's Big Spring Park is back after it was closed for about 30 years. The Neosho Parks Department recently put the finishing touches on the waterfall and an additional flower bed at the north end of the spring pool. It was all made possible by the Save Our Heritage Foundation, which contributed financially to the waterfall's return. The Neosho Parks Department says they crossed all their T's, dotted their I's before bringing the waterfall back. They checked with the Missouri Department of Conservation, which confirmed that there would be no negative impact on native fish and wildlife. And the U.S. Geological Survey eased concerns over erosion, saying that erosion rates to solid limestone from neutralized spring water is negligible. Still ahead, authorities filed charges against the parents of a teenager accused of a deadly shooting at a Michigan high school. And later, dinosaurs in the Show Me State. We're going to look at the discovery that's prompting archaeologists to keep digging. A manhunt is underway in Michigan for the parents of the 15-year-old shooting suspect charged with killing 4 students at his high school. After the couple was charged with involuntary manslaughter today, their lawyer said they weren't on the run but had left town earlier in the week for their own safety. Authorities now say they're fugitives. Anthony Perro reports.
The parents of 15-year-old accused high school gunman Ethan Crumbley each face 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald announced the charges against James and Jennifer Crumbley.
Any individual who had the opportunity to stop this tragedy should have done so.
McDonald says on November 26th, James Crumbley brought his son with him to buy the gun. In a post online, his mom called it a Christmas present for her son. The day before Tuesday's shooting, a teacher reported Crumbley to school authorities after seeing him search ammunition on his phone.
Thereafter, Jennifer Crumbley exchanged text messages about the incident with her son on that day, stating, quote, "LOL, I'm not mad at you. You have to learn not to get caught.
The next day, a teacher spotted drawings on the teenager's desk of a gun and blood with the words, "The thoughts won't stop, help me." And there was a drawing of a bullet with blood everywhere written above.
The notion that a parent could read those words and also know that their son had access to a deadly weapon that they gave him is unconscionable, and I think it's criminal.
Crumbly's parents were called to the school, but did not ask about the whereabouts of the gun or tell the school they had recently bought it for him. Crumbly returned to class after his parents allegedly refused to take him home. Shortly after, when they heard about the rampage, his mother frantically texted the teen, "Ethan, don't do it." By then, authorities say Crumbly had already walked out of a school bathroom and began shooting students in the hallway. Anthony Pura, CBS News.
Prosecutors say after the shooting, Ethan Crumbly's father called 911, reporting that a gun was missing from his house and that he believed his son may be the shooter. Parents told authorities they had stored the gun unlocked in a drawer in their room. Later, the Webb City Cardinals look to capture yet another state championship. Jacob Leonard has the highlights in sports.
Plus, we have some rain chances and temperature changes in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it actually turned out to be a fantastic weather week, especially to wrap up November, head into December, and all week long we had temperatures into the 60s or 70s. In fact, the past 2 days we've set record highs, which is kind of crazy, but hey, we'll definitely take it in the winter months. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri, looks pretty good. Friday night, parking lot filling up, and the weather's actually been pretty good. Look at our temps today. We went right back up into the upper 60s to lower 70s, a little bit cooler in our northern counties as a cold front slipped in during the late afternoon hours. So now we have a northeasterly wind. We're sitting into the mid 50s, and eventually we'll drop back into the mid 40s a little bit later on tonight. But you can see that front just kind of sinking through, and this isn't going to last long. In fact, it's kind of stalling out to our south. It's going to turn around and head back toward the north here in about 24 hours, and that's going to help our temperatures go right back up. But it will be a little bit cooler for Saturday. Looks good. 7th and range line, we have just partly cloudy skies up top, north winds at about 8, humidity nearly 70%. We are going to see the clouds increasing as we go through the overnight hours. There's a very weak little wave just to our south. The jet stream's way north, so this system, it just doesn't have a lot of energy. It's just kind of spinning out across northern parts of Texas, southern parts of Oklahoma. What it will do for us is give us some clouds and some random showers as we go into the weekend. Besides that, not a whole bunch is going on. In fact, out to the west, not a whole bunch is going on. The jet stream is way up toward the north, but we're about ready to see some pretty drastic changes as we go through the next few days. All right, let's go through time for us tonight. We are going to get a few random showers to our south. Maybe a couple sprinkles in our southern counties. Besides that, we look okay. We'll drop back into the mid 40s. We'll have some clouds around in the morning, kind of cool, random sprinkle. I do think by the afternoon, as the winds start to get out of the southeast, we should go into lower 60s for highs. 46 to start, 57 by noon, high temp of 63. 10 degrees, 11 degrees cooler than what we saw today, but still about 12 degrees warmer than where we should be for this time of the year. Again, a lot of clouds, maybe a random sprinkle. Tomorrow night, clouds thicken. We'll get a few random light showers and sprinkles kind of rotating through. This is not a big deal, lasting into Sunday morning. Once we get through Sunday morning, this little wave will pull east. We're going to start to warm up. We'll get sunshine. I think we'll go near 70 on Sunday afternoon, but Sunday evening, here comes a cold front. With the front, we may get a few little thunderstorms, especially along and south of Interstate 44, maybe even a few flurries Sunday night, and then we cool down quite a bit by the time we head into Monday. So Monday's going to be a much cooler day. We're only going to be into the 40s. We'll start to creep things back up by Tuesday, but another system rolls in, giving us a chance for a few showers. In fact, it gets pretty active the next few weeks. 63 tomorrow, 70 on Sunday, only 45 on Monday. We do warm into the 60s late next week. Another storm system next weekend. Look at this. We could go rain to snow next Saturday into Sunday. So something we want to keep our eyes on next week.
You bet. In the meantime, boy, nice temps this weekend.
Yeah, it looks great.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, the Pittsburgh boys open the basketball season at home against Joplin, and the Webb City Cardinals go for a record 16th State Championship. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more next.
Well, today is a big day for both Webb City and Lamar football. Both teams play for state championships tonight in Columbia. Starting in Class 5, it's another tall task for Webb City tonight. The Cardinals on the field against undefeated Holt in the state championship game. Webb trying for their third title in 5 years. Now, Holt gets on the board first. Kyle Woobling finds a gap, breaks free for the Indians' touchdown. Webb City with the answer, though. Cade Wilson in from a yard out. That ties the game up at 7. The Cardinals force a punt on their next possession. Dupree Jackson finds his way in. Webb City leads 14-7 at halftime. Now with the ball after the break, Jackson again, his second touchdown of the night. 6-yard score that pushes their lead to double digits. Webb City with the ball following a turnover. Wilson cashes in another. Less than a minute to play here. 5-point game. Webb City defense comes up huge. Jackson would seal the game with an interception. Webb City wins it 26-21. It's their 16th state championship, most in Missouri high school history.
I made the comment, I said, why not us? You know, why not us? And that's something I remember very vividly, looking at our kids' faces, and a lot of them were like, you know, we were sitting at what, 6-3, guys? 6-3, and maybe I didn't even believe it at that time, you know. But I could see something in our kids' faces when I said that. They're like, "Yeah, why not?" You know. And so I've never been more proud of a group that has come so far from the beginning, you know, to the end.
In Class 2, the Lamar Tigers are aiming to finish off a special season. Lamar's undefeated, 13-0 coming into tonight's championship game against Lutheran St. Charles. Now the Tigers aiming for back-to-back championships in year 2 under head coach Jared Beshore. Joel Beshore punches it in for the Lamar touchdown. Tigers up 7-0 after their first drive. Adding to the lead here, Beshore connects with Trace Wilhite. Speeds in for the score, but after a few turnovers, Lamar actually down 1 at half. Coming out of the break, Arlen Harris Jr. in for the score. It's 21-13 Cougars at that point. Here's Lamar's response. Logan Crockett gets outside, crosses the goal line. Tigers within 2. Lamar still battling. Crockett again in the end zone from a few yards out. Lamar back on top, 27-21. Cougars, though, would tie it up at 27. And check this out, less than 10 seconds on the clock. Harris Jr. dives in for the score, and that is the ball game. Lamar falls in the state championship, 33-27.
I know that everyone thinks that we're coming in here unblemished, but the fact of the matter is that we've been dealing more adversity this year than we have in a long time in our program. Injuries, things going up and down the game, and these guys just would overcome it again and again and again. So that was nothing new for us, and you know, we overcame it and put ourselves in a position to win the ball game.
On the basketball court tonight is opening night for the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons. Pittsburgh boys host Joplin in their first game of the year. And Joplin is 1-0 after beating McDonald County in their opener last week. Pick it up early on, that's Mason English hitting the 3 for Pittsburgh. More from him in a second. Pittsburgh with the ball again, but Terrence Gibson gets the steal, goes the other way, gets up for the one-handed jam. To the fourth now. Pittsburgh's Hayden Murphy with the half-court pass to English. He'll lay it in with the left, but Joplin's all-right responds here, loses his defender, knocks down a 3. Joplin rolls in the end over Pittsburgh, 64-36. In other Southeast Kansas action, season opener for the Girard Trojans at home against Parsons. The girls' game, it was a good one, but Girard comes out on top 58-53. As for the boys, Trojans make it a sweep in another tight one, winning 66-65. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Tonight we recognize a U.S. Army veteran from Joplin. Staff Sergeant Eddie Dry served our nation in Panama, Saudi Arabia, Bosnia, and Somalia. Staff Sergeant Eddie Dry, a four-state hero. It's a prehistoric treasure making headlines in the Show Me State. A skeleton of a new dinosaur species was discovered in Missouri, and parts of it will soon be on display. Justina Coronel has that story.
Actually, there's a lot of picking that's going to have to go on to this. It's going to take a lot of work.
For decades, St. Genevieve Museum Learning Center curator Guy Darrow has been digging for new information.
I always kept my eyes to the ground ever since I was a little kid. I was making discoveries.
It's that spirit that's led to a discovery unlike he's ever seen before.
We've only got one main dinosaur from Missouri. That's Parasaurus missouriensis.
It's a tale about a tale that started 80 years ago in Ballinger County, about 2 hours south of St. Louis.
They originally found the tail of a dinosaur. They didn't know what it was. They thought it was from a long neck guy like this guy right there. Nobody really could put their finger on what it was until recently.
Throughout time, Darrow visited the site, locating more bones.
I discovered this. This is a juvenile Parasaurus.
And when they unearthed bigger parts, they called the Field Museum in Chicago for help.
About a month ago, they pulled out a major part of the body, which is the size of a Volkswagen. They had to lift it out with a piece of equipment. We got pretty much of a whole Missouri dinosaur there, and it could be like 30, 35 feet long.
Finally, a moment they could sink their teeth into.
They could pretty well determine from these jaws that this was a totally different dinosaur. Usually the teeth are a big determining factor. It's a new genus and species. That's like hitting King's Tut treasure in Missouri is what that's like.
Most of the parts are getting cleaned in the Windy City, but some are here. The St. Genevieve Museum Learning Center will soon open up and become the official Missouri dinosaur visitor site. It's a historic moment for Missouri. However, we're told this is just the beginning.
We're really looking for more dinosaurs. It's an ancient environment that's preserved, and we're just now really kind of getting started.
It's amazing. Doug already asked me if I rode a dinosaur when I was a kid. I won't tell you what I wanted to say to him. Weather's looking pretty nice this weekend.
Yeah, it does. It looks pretty good. A lot of clouds tomorrow. We are going to make it into the 60s and then near 70 on Thursday.
Final sports.
Thursday. Sunday.
Penn State and Missouri Southern basketball both at home tomorrow night. We'll have those highlights tomorrow night.
We hope you enjoy your weekend and your Thursday, and let's make it a great one.